Deadpool makes Marvel's world go round in the comic book section this week. Also, ComicCon Cruise, and a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let's do that, shall we? Hello, nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of the news as it pertains to comic books and books. No discussion of current storylines, story arcs, or any of those kind of details is going to happen here per se. I am, after all, a one-man organization and can't read every book that comes out and report on it and any of the news therein. But we can talk about new announcements and major changes as they pertain to any of the publishers that we follow, or just generally nerdy literary information in that sense. So let's get into all of that, shall we? And also, if you dig what's going on here, there is a much more up-to-date and possibly relevant, because it takes a second to get these sections posted up, so probably much more up-to-date version of the news in long form I like to call The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, which you can find linked in the description as well as at the end of this video. That show covers many more points of interest in the nerd community, in the pop culture community at large, and so definitely go check that out. Now let's get into all of those literary notes, shall we? First up, we got no follow-ups or corrections really to talk about, except in a weird way, our first two pieces of news are kind of follow-ups. Not really corrections, but definitely kind of follow-ups, because they're both Deadpool related. First one being Deadpool and Wolverine World War III has been announced, with the return of writer Joe Kelly. Back a couple years ago at a convention, I got the honor of interviewing Mr. Joe Kelly here on the channel, so you can go check out that video. I'll do a card or whatever, link probably down in the description actually. So yeah, Joe Kelly is going to be writing it. Art is going to be from Adam Kubert. The little synopsis blurb that Marvel has released goes as follows: the most intensely mismatched team up in comics and pop culture, the best there is, and the merc with the mouth undergoes a radical change in an all-new 3-part globe-spanning saga for the ages in Deadpool and Wolverine World War III #1. Will be on stands May 1st. Honestly, Joe Kelly Deadpool is never bad. It's not always great, but it's at least good. And Joe Kelly and Deadpool is rarely just good. Honestly, I think a majority of the suggestions in this section that we've done on this channel, if they include Deadpool at all, are probably Joe Kelly writing Deadpool. Joe Kelly is just like, yes, I know Rob Liefeld created Deadpool, but Joe Kelly perfected. It's kind of like a Beatles and The Who situation, whereas the Beatles kind of revolutionized rock and roll music, The Who perfected rock and roll music, and this is that situation. Rob Liefeld being the Beatles, and then Joe Kelly being The Who, obviously the superior band in the equation. Anyway, from there, let's talk the other piece of Deadpool news. They're reviving the solo Deadpool series. The writer on this one's going to be Cody Ziglar, who's a name I recognize, but I honestly couldn't put my finger on exactly why, so somebody please enlighten me in the comment section. And then the art is going to be Roge Antonio. And the synopsis for this one from Marvel goes as follows: as he confronts a brand new archenemy named Death Grip, who may very well live up to his name, Wade will also reunite with his daughter Ellie. It's the father-daughter duo the Marvel Universe isn't ready for, and if Death Grip has his way, it'll only lead to heartbreak. This one is going to be on bookshelves April 3rd, so it's going to be, I believe they're both bi-weekly or once a month. I honestly didn't see, I don't remember seeing the specifics, and I didn't write it in the notes because amazing notes, right? So yeah, on Deadpool, never bad. Well, I take that back. Rarely bad. Can be bad, has been bad, but usually a safe bet when it comes to modern comics. Then our next book that has been announced is the revival of another franchise in the Marvel universe, if you will, and that is the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is going to be returning to a solo book. They're reviving the solo book with writer Steve Orlando and artist, I'm not going to say this guy's name correctly and I apologize, artist is Jacopo Camagni, think is how that is supposed to be pronounced. Again, I apologize for my American tongue. On sale on shelves June 12th. This is going to be continuing the story that started with Darkhold, ran through Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and then this is not really a conclusion, just again a continuation of all of the events that happened in those story arcs. So yeah, gonna see some really powerful Wanda Maximoff, and that's all I honestly really know about what's been going on with Scarlet Witch. So again, I can't read all of these comic lines. I only got so much time in the day, so yeah, we will definitely be reading the cliff notes as they come through. That's what we got there. Let's move next over to some regular, this is regular as news. We're talking next about ComicCon the Cruise. Have you ever been out on a cruise and thought, man, I could really use some really stinky dudes in the cabin next to me, and then probably in the cabin next to them, and then out everywhere on this ship? No, I know it's a gross it's a bad stereotype of the community. We don't all smell funny, though right now I am a little ripe, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, the Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con specifically, because they're the only ones who can call themselves Comic-Con, because semantics. But they're starting a cruise. It will sail from Tampa, Florida, go through Cozumel, and then back again. It will be on Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas. And there's going to be it's going to be like a Comic-Con at sea. Tickets start at $990 per person. There is a link down in the description so you can get a little bit more ticketing information if you are interested. That is a lot of money. I did not honestly see the dates. I do know it is going to be summer of 2025, though the exact dates you will have to follow the link in the description to get that information. But some of the special guests are going to include Warwick Davis, George Takei, Ernie Hudson, etc., etc. Sounds pretty legit, honestly, if you can, once again, picture yourself on a boat for probably about a week or so with a whole bunch of the nerdy types. I'm cool with it. Maybe not the boat part, but if Comic-Con, Comic-Con does in the right settings last 4 to 5 days, so, and I'm usually there when I go, all of the days that it's going, you're just not confined to the hotel with all of the guests and the patrons going through. So I don't know, it's an interesting dichotomy. Anyway.
Psst, hey, so I'm just, passing the word around that, if you subscribe, he feeds me a whole goat. I don't know about you, but, I like to eat, so do a dragon a favor and click that little button down there, and, yeah, it'd be awesome. We talk about the stuff that you like anyway, like movies and video games and other human things that nerds do. Plus, it costs you basically nothing. All you gotta do is click a button, right? And then I get to feast. It's delicious. So, thanks in advance and stuff, and, also, if you comment or you hit the like button, he puts seasoning on it too, so yeah, maybe try that. Either way, let's get back to the show. Okay, bye.
Next up on the list is all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles happenings that are about to be going down. First up on that list is we're getting a new book from IDW. This one's going to be written by Jason Aaron. It is going to focus, not really exclusively, but the primary villain is going to be a brand new villain that I did not see in the interview. He did an interview with comicbook.com. Did not see in the interview where he said the new villain's name, so he was kind of playing coy a lot. But there is going to be a new villain that is going to be at the center of everything that's going on. The book will focus only on the 4 main turtles. Janica is going to be dealt with somehow. I don't know if I don't think they're going to be killing her off. I would imagine there's going to be some sort of reversal of her mutation, and then she's going to slowly fade out. which is, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag now that she's been around for so long, how she's being received in the community. By and large, it's lukewarm, but that's better than cold, right? So very interesting. The relaunch will be part of this new expansion from IDW to expand into the Turtleverse, effectively. The book will be on sale in July. I did not find a specific date, but once it gets closer, I'm sure we'll have a follow-up to fill in those gaps. You can follow the link down in the description if you want to read the interview with writer Jason. Oh, I just lost my place. Yeah, Jason Aaron. There we go. Yeah, if you want to read the interview, you can follow the link down in the description. But yeah, that's the long and the short of it is we're getting a new continuation of the current storyline for the comic book version of the Ninja Turtles. It's a lot of qualifiers there. Speaking of a lot of qualifiers, our next piece of Ninja Turtles news has to do with the Saturday Morning Adventures books, which, to refresh your memory real quick, the Saturday Morning Adventures comic books are written and drawn like the animation from the original 80s cartoon, the one that kind of popularized the Turtles. I know it's not the original iteration, but it's the one that most people are the most familiar with. So they continued that storyline, if you will. They continued that universe in the comic books, and it's the TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures. There is apparently, and I have not been reading the Saturday Morning Adventures, though I really, really want to, there's apparently a villain in this universe called Mr. Og, who is going to create some shenanigans come book number 12 for the TMNT. I will be out on April 24th. Pre-orders go out March 18th is when you can start pre-ordering, and it's going to be a crossover event that is almost inevitable when you're working with a multiverse of any kind anymore. But yeah, crossover event that looks pretty freaking epic, not gonna lie. There was the movie version of one of the more recent animated Turtles where you had like a bunch of the different timelines. Like the original black and white Turtles came in and they were super gritty and grim and killing folks and stuff. And then you had like the original 80s cartoon Turtles, and then you had the current iteration of the Turtles that was happening at the time, and then there was the 3D Turtles, and then yeah, all of these timelines converged for a movie at one point. Well, this is kind of the comic book version of that. It's going to be a different storyline, obviously, but it's going to be effectively that, in that we're going to see the black and white. I mean, if you look at the promo art, that's like the first thing you see is you see one black and white turtle, you see one of the Rise of the TMNT Turtles, I think it's Raph, you see the 80s cartoon Turtles, you see an animated looking version of the 3D cartoon Turtles. Yeah, just a really interesting, I really dig multiverse stuff because different versions of characters are fun. So I'm excited for it. I don't know about you. Continuing on though, that kills our regular ass news section, which leaves only suggestions for comic books and books. Book suggestion starting off season 5 is none other than the Immortal Fight Club, the 96 book by Chuck Palahniuk that kind of put him on the map and then was later turned into a movie by David Fincher because Fincher is God and Palahniuk is kind of the god of minimalist fiction. So it's a merger of two great minds, and the book is great, the movie is great on its own merits. The two are equally great for different reasons. Honestly, if you've seen the movie, you should read the book. If you just like fantastic fiction, then the book is going to be a very quick read, but a very good read nonetheless. It kind of makes you question a lot of things about yourself and your motivations in life and stuff. So yeah, very philosophical if you really get under the violent skin. Either way, fantastic stuff. Go check out Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means, just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.